Introductions are tricky. Even knowing how to properly introduce this video is a challenge. But by the end of this video, you'll know how to create a strong first impression, tell a concise, compelling story about who you are, and convey confidence while doing it. I'm Jen, a career coach with over 10 years of experience in career services. Let's dive into my top tips and best examples of how to introduce yourself in an interview. You make an introduction with more than just your words. Your words matter, but so do your actions. Before you even begin speaking, employers take note of how you show up. So my first tip for making a strong first impression is to present yourself professionally. This means arrive early. If you're interviewing in person, arrive at the location at least 15 minutes in advance. Use a navigation app to ensure that you don't get lost, and don't forget to give yourself a buffer for traffic. If you're interviewing virtually, aim to sign into the platform at least 5 minutes early. You'll likely wait in a virtual lobby, but arriving early will alleviate some of the stress that comes along with interviewing. You'll be able to take some really good deep breaths and remind yourself that you've got this. Dress appropriately. Take some time to review the company website and get a sense of the workplace and what level of formality is appropriate. Look at photos on their social media sites to get a sense of what the other employees are wearing at the office. As a best practice, aim to dress a little bit more formal than how employees normally dress. Pay attention to the details and make sure that your clothes are wrinkle-free. If you're interviewing on a video call, make sure that your background is tidy and that your location is quiet and has stable Wi-Fi connection. For more tips on how to nail a virtual interview, be sure to check out this video right here. Bring your resume or other relevant application materials like a portfolio. Even if you're interviewing virtually, it's helpful to have these in front of you for the ease of reference. Be polite and friendly to everyone you encounter. The interview starts the moment you enter the building or sign into the virtual platform. Finally, be prepared. Before the interview, research the company, job description, and even the interviewer. It's best to spend at least 30 minutes visiting the company's website to review their About Us or Products or Service Offerings page to learn about what their mission and values are. A company's social media channels are also a great resource. Now, you'll know that you've conducted really great research when you can successfully speak to how one of your personal values aligns to a value of the company's, or even how your skill set would support or even better enhance the services that they offer to their customers. Sometimes the research that you do can really help you get the job. Before I move on, if you find this content helpful, let us know by giving us a like. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Okay, so now that we've covered how your actions can create a strong first impression, let's discuss what to say when it's time to introduce yourself. When introducing yourself, aim to create a short, compelling story. To keep it concise, I recommend using the present, past, and future format. I'm going to explain each component, and then I'm going to put it together into a full introduction at the end of the section. Let's start with the present. This refers to where you are in your career right now, or most recently as it relates to the role that you're interviewing for. You've likely already shared your name at this point, so it's not necessary to state your name again unless you've been asked specifically about its pronunciation. Starting your response with, "My name is," can sound stiff and mechanical and even rehearsed, which you want to try to avoid. So first, share what you've been doing most recently by giving a high-level view of your role, including your title, responsibilities, and the projects that you've worked on most recently. Try to show a relationship with this work and the role that you're applying for. If you're transitioning into a new role or industry, this is a great time for you to mention any certifications you've completed, classes you've taken, or relevant personal projects you've worked on. If this is the case, start with your most recent relevant experience before shifting to your most recent role. And be sure to highlight the transferable skills that you've acquired that apply specifically to this position. Take the opportunity to highlight a key accomplishment in this section and use the preferred experience or skills highlighted in the job description to guide what accomplishments you want to talk about. An example present statement is, "I'm currently a social media manager for a tech startup. I execute the content strategy for various social media channels." Once you've covered where you are now, start talking about the past. It can help to mention your motivation for entering this field. This is your opportunity to share the most impactful information about who you are as a professional, not to just reiterate the information that the recruiter can easily find on your resume. So you want to focus on sharing your first professional ambitions for pursuing this career path, instead of just providing the timeline for how you got here. For example, if you're a teacher, talk about what motivated you to play a large role impacting student lives. If you've changed careers along the way, or if you're trying to change careers now, then speak to what motivated you to take that shift and tie a thread to this new career. If you're a recent graduate, talk about what class motivated you to explore this industry in the first place. Employers like to hear a story of how and why you got to where you are right now. Talking about your past can change depending on how relevant your current role is to the job that you're interviewing for right now. If you're changing industries, it's helpful to highlight the transferable skills that you bring, especially if your previous role doesn't seem relevant at first glance. Here's a quick bonus tip. If you can show how your experience in a different industry provides you with a uniquely valuable perspective for the employer, that's the best case scenario. For instance, if you've worked as a server at a restaurant and you're applying to work for a company that sells technology to restaurants, you'll bring a personal understanding of the company's customer base or how this tech solves an industry-specific pain point. An example past statement is, I graduated college with a communications degree, and I met the hiring manager for the startup at a career fair. I was excited by the chance to tackle such a large project early in my career. I had held previous marketing internships, and I looked forward to putting my skills and experience to the test in a way that I knew would shape the future of a business. Now let's focus on the future. This part of your response is a great opportunity to get strategic with your answer and align your personal goals with the goals of the company. Aim to show that you've researched the company and that you know what their values are and that you're specifically well positioned to fill this role. By addressing how you support an employer's goals and how their values align with yours, you're showing them that you're a good match and you're invested in them because you took the time to do the research. The future statement is all about the why. Why do you want this role? Why are you passionate about this opportunity? Speaking about what excites you about the role or industry could even remind your interviewer why they got into the business, which can make you a much more relatable candidate and build a human connection. If it sparks a response of a similar passion from your interviewer, be sure to mention it in the thank you note that you send after the interview. Wrapping up by focusing on the future provides a natural close to your answer. It signals to the interviewer that you're talking about a future within this company, and it gives them the opportunity to segue to their next question. An example future statement is, after working with the company for the last 3 years, I'm proud of how I've helped the company grow. Now I'm looking for an opportunity to work more collaboratively with cross-functional stakeholders. I'd love to learn more about other aspects of marketing. I was delighted to see that this role would allow me to do that while still using social media content as a way to share stories that elevate your brand. All right, so now that we've reviewed each piece of the formula, let's see it all come together. Here's how I would introduce myself. Present. I currently work at Indeed as a career coach and a job search expert, where I aim to provide accessible guidance to job seekers through a variety of mediums. Past. For the past 10 years, I've worked in several career services roles, including talent acquisition, recruiting coordination, career coaching, and team leadership. Most recently, I led a team of 16 career coaches that provided direct and virtual career development services for job seekers in tech. Through my experience working with job seekers, I've learned that the job search can feel isolating. No one should ever feel like they're in it alone. Future. I'm interested in opportunities to create career development resources and provide guidance to people who need them. After reading the job description for your Director of Career Development, I see an opportunity to use my experience to scale the exceptional services you currently offer to a larger audience. All right, here's another tip here. I often hear people in interviews end their response by saying, "Yep, that's me." Let's try this conclusion statement instead. And that's what brings me here today for this exciting opportunity. This is a much better way to signal to the interviewer that you're done talking. And remember, the key is to be concise. You want to verbally introduce yourself in between 1 to 2 minutes. For information on how to provide a more expanded introduction when asked questions like, "Tell me about yourself," click on this video. Now that you know what to say, let's talk about how to say it in a way that projects confidence. Nonverbal communication plays a big role in how you project preparedness. As you're being greeted and introducing yourself, make sure to make eye contact with all of the people that you meet. Take notice of your posture also. Sit up straight with your shoulders back. I actually always like to imagine that there's this imaginary string at the top of my head that I can pull to correct my posture even further. Now, body language is doubly important if you're in a virtual setting, because your face is often all an employer can see. So try to remember to look directly into the camera. This communicates that you're engaged and that you care about what the interviewer has to say. So now for our bonus tip on nailing your introduction. Make the most of your prep time by filming yourself. Now, the phone on your camera works perfectly for this exercise. Imagine that the camera lens is the interviewer. Speak directly to the light or to the lens to mimic eye contact, as I mentioned before. When you're done, you want to review the footage for body language. Notice if you're smiling. Try to project your voice while speaking clearly and slowly. See if you're sitting up straight without fidgeting or using any distracting hand gestures. Length of your answer. Check how long it took you to respond. You want to aim between 1 to 2 minutes. If you're taking less time than that, you might need to highlight an additional qualification or even an achievement. Or maybe you just need to speak a little bit slower. Technical issues. If your interview is virtual, this exercise allows you to check your tech, including your camera, mic, and internet connection, and also try to have your resume on hand so you can refer to it if needed. If you don't have access to a camera on your phone or computer, don't worry about it. Just practice with a friend. Find someone you feel comfortable with and someone who's going to be able to give you honest feedback. For more advice on how to prepare for an interview, be sure to check out our video on the topic that you can find right here. So to quickly recap, my top tips for introducing yourself in an interview are: 1. Present yourself as professional with your behavior and your appearance. Remember to show up early, dress appropriately, bring relevant materials, and be friendly to everyone, and always be prepared. 2. When verbally introducing yourself, stick to the format. Present, past, future. Explain what you do, your background, and why you're here today. 3. Tell your story. Don't just summarize your resume. 4. Project confidence with your body language. Try to stay open and friendly. 5. Take a close look at how you're introducing yourself by filming yourself or practicing with a friend. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button down below, subscribe to our channel right here, or for more tips on interviewing, I recommend checking out this playlist or watching our video on how to answer Tell Me About Yourself. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this information helpful and that you're able to apply these tips to your next interview prep. If you're able to connect your skills, experience, and qualifications to the roles confidently, you're going to be just fine. See you next time.